Hello. I think we're getting started here. It's going really slow. I might be talking to myself right now. It still says live video starting. We are here. We are live in the group coaching. This is the Red Rights Books Mastermind, our mentorship group. We call this the Red Rights Books Mentorship Mastermind because we have a whole group of working writers and aspiring writers and professional authors that are in here to support one another in community. And that is part of having our mentorship. Just to kind of give you a little note here, I did try to set this up to have my Zoom cast into here, and I was struggling with a little bit of the technology there. My Zoom was tied to a different account, and so I have to go through and make a couple of adjustments before it will allow me to cast the Zoom into this group. So hopefully we will get an opportunity to start that next week with our weekly group session. And the reason that we are going to want to do that is because then I can share my documents in here, whereas I'm not able to do that while we are here in just the generic Facebook Live. So when I send you this video following today, you should know that what you are going to receive is I'm going to edit it and I'm going to put in these documents that I'm speaking about that you're not getting to see live today. However, I still hope that you get a lot out of this. Right now, we have not everybody in our group coaching has joined the group coaching mastermind group as of yet. They are just filtering in. Some of them just finished joining us like in the last week. And so they just maybe haven't seen those invitations yet. We have about 7 of us right now. And hopefully we are all going to grow and we're going to grow together. But let me just kind of give you an overview of what group coaching is going to look like here in the Red Rights Books Mastermind Mentorship Program here. So group coaching is going to take place once each week. What we are going to have in that group coaching, I'm pulling up my notes that I would love to be showing you right now. So let me just kind of give you an overview of that schedule, and then I will go ahead and copy that into the comments as well. And by the way, please feel free to put your own notes into the comments at any time during this video. I will do my best to answer that as much as we can. So here is our group coaching breakdown. Essentially, we have this private Facebook group. This one is our private group. I'm going to talk about the public group in just a moment. In this group, we are going to host this live session every week. Hopefully by next week, I will have the Zoom figured out so that what we will have in this group is we're going to be sharing the documents. We're going to be sharing other videos. We're going to be sharing resources. You're not just going to have to look at me talking the whole time. So normally we will have that Zoom that is cast live into this Facebook group. We are going to open with a teaching after we introduce the lesson each week. We're going to have whatever that teaching is, and I'm going to tell you a lot more about what those teachings look like. I'm super excited about them, actually. Then we're going to just get some open Q&A. If you want to message me any questions ahead of the weekly event, the weekly group coaching event, please feel free to do that. I have the events all already scheduled for January, so you can see what the next 5 sessions are. I will be trying to get those in by the 3rd week of each month, that you'll be able to see whatever is coming in that next month. And so if you have questions that you are thinking about ahead of time, feel free to DM me those, or you can email me at redrightsbooks@gmail.com, and I'll make sure that we cover them in the session. When it comes to the actual attending, yeah, I'd love to have you guys here live. But there are going to be times and realities that's not going to be able to happen because some of you work, some of you are doing this literally at school. You know, you're in a study hall and you've got your earbuds in. and you're going to be watching the video back. So I'm hoping that you're still going to get value out of it by watching the video back, especially once we're sharing some of those documents. But in the meantime, don't feel obligated to be here live, but I love it when you are here live because I love being able to see your comments and interact with them live. And once we have the Zoom set up, hopefully I will be able to see some of your faces as well, because you will have the option of either logging in via Zoom or via the Facebook Live group. So we're going to have some Q&A. We're going to have then each week after, so we're going to introduce it. We're going to have the teaching. We're going to have some Q&A based on the teaching. And then each week is going to have three other things. One, I'm going to have a recommended resource each week. Two, I'm going to give you a weekly challenge. And three, there's going to be some kind of a bonus value that I offer you. The sessions are going to be live like you see here, but you're going to get that video playback sent to you afterward. Once the Zoom is working, you're also going to be able to have audio transcripts of that. Sometimes the transcripts get a little funny. They don't quite follow exactly what you say, but they're usually pretty close. And then you can see in the comments here everything else that I'm going to be sending you. So you're going to also get some other opportunities just by being a live group coaching member or a mentorship mastermind member. One of the things that I want to encourage you is no matter what, the number one thing, and you're going to hear me say this 100 times, that I think makes the difference in making it as a working writer is doing so in community. So please lift one another up. We need to stay positive in here. We can absolutely give constructive criticism because we all have to be open to that and willing to grow from that. But in this group, there shouldn't be any like putting down or anything like that, because it should all be about lifting each other up. Offer encouragement, offer ways that, hey, maybe you could do this way, or hey, here's an idea I have. I want this group to be a place where all of you can lean on one another too, in addition to leaning on me. So that's kind of what the group coaching each week is going to look like. So now I'm going to tell you a little about this week, and we're going to walk through what I call the 10-step model for building your own full-time working writer career. And we're going to talk a little bit about what each of those 10 things are and how we are going to tackle them throughout the year, so that ideally by the end of this year, you know what your full-time working writer model looks like. That is the goal out of this group coaching program, out of this mentorship mastermind. So I've just posted in those notes that I said about how it's going to go, so you guys can see that as well in the comments. Again, we will have those added that I edit into the video when you guys receive the playback of this video. So what I'm introducing you to now, we're going to talk about what is that 10-step working writer model. So first of all, I am living and working that 10-step model. So it's not something that is it's not something that I'm just like, I've read this somewhere and I think this is something that, give this a shot or whatever. No, this is something that I'm actually doing. I'm living and working this model. I am a full-time working writer. This last fall, I was at an event that I greatly respect. It was the very last of the event. It was called 20 Books Vegas. The organization is not putting on conferences anymore. This was their very last conference. Otherwise, I would say, hey, get there. But instead, I'm going to offer you guys something else in place of it, but you'll get to hear a little bit more about that later. In this 20 Books Vegas group, one of the things that we learned is like there are different ways of making your full-time working writer model. So for me, yes, I'm a full-time working writer. Technically, I'm not a full-time just author, because I do so much more beyond authoring books to be at the point where this can be my career, this can be my living wage, this can be my income. And I think that there's this belief that that's not good enough. But if you love what you're doing, if you love writing, then this is really the model um, that I think you can use to realistically reach a living wage as a writer. And if you have a passion for writing, that writing can go into a lot of different categories. And whether it's doing different forms of writing or just authoring your books, and I don't mean just, Lord knows, authoring books is not necessarily an easy thing. When you're doing those things, you're also going to need to learn how to run a business, which it took me a very long time to do. So running a business maybe isn't always natural to creatives, and so I've identified the different things that are necessary to specifically running a creative business, to specifically running a business that you want to keep doing the work of. A lot of entrepreneurial models or business coaching models, what they have is a model that basically writes the owner out. So, you're an auto mechanic and you take your skill set and you open a car shop, and business coaching might lead you to the point where you are now in charge of a team of auto mechanics, and you don't even have to be there and the shop continues to run. Now, mind you, I know auto mechanics that just love their job just as much as I love my job as a writer, and so they would want to keep working too. But there are a lot of business models out there that are all about you no longer actually having to do the business. And the thing about not having to do the business, it's not what most creatives I know actually want to do. You're writing because you're called to writing. And so, what is a business model that allows you to keep the writing at the center of your career, but that will allow you to grow? So, I'm going to walk you through our 10 steps. So first, there's writing, RIGHTING, your mindset. I'm going to put that in the comments here. Again, you'll get all of these documents when I edit the video. So writing your mindset. So specifically amongst creatives, there is a very large leaning toward imposter syndrome, not thinking you're good enough, um, anxiety and ADHD run very high in creatives. I don't know enough about DNA to know why that is the case, but it's a big deal. And so getting your mindset into a place where you can actually feel like you're bringing your best self to your work is the very first step. So I have some really exciting news about this aspect of the 10-step model when it comes to our group coaching. We have partnered with an amazing person, and I think I have to include somebody else in here. Okay, we just got somebody who's adding. Awesome. So we've partnered with an amazing person. It's Kim Rogney with For the Love of. She runs a personal and professional development entrepreneurial company. So she is not working with just creatives. She is working with entrepreneurs, but she is a mindset expert. So when it comes to that step, that writing your mindset, we are going to have lessons throughout the year. We have 5 different lessons partnered with Kim Rogney. She is the #1 best-selling author of For the Love of Self, which is a daily mindset journal. And to get #1 in journals, by the way, I don't know if any of my writers here have tried to ever publish journals. They are not huge sellers. And so that's a huge kudos to this person that we're getting to work with, that she's been able to hit #1 in journals. And in this case, it's a mindset journal. So writing your mindset is all about getting yourself in that perfect frame of mind to bring your best work to what it is that you're creating. And so I'm going to shrink this down again and pull out our next step here. I have way too many tabs open, by the way, because I was hoping to do this in shared tabs rather than in the Facebook Live. And again, I really look forward to when we get the Zoom working next week. So the next thing that we're going to work on, and I told you I was going to be nailing this down throughout the year. We're really going to talk a lot about building community. Ooh, there we go. So building community, I'm telling you, there's nothing that you can get done in this business without building community. And the truth is, you can't get done anything in any kind of a professional career without building community. So we are going to identify specifically what is the community that you need. Yes, you need a community of other writers, which we're starting to build here, and I'm going to give you some other recommendations throughout the year. But then when we get really niche specific, when we're like really hitting your niche and you're like in there and you're wanting to connect with the right people to change how you're moving forward in your career, we want to make sure that we're aligning you with them. We're going to help you find where they are. We're going to help you connect with them appropriately. We're going to help you build relationships with them, because it's not just knowing them, it's not just being connected on your socials. You actually want to build relationships that are of mutual benefit and value to one another. So that is something else that you are going to be working on, and we are going to have some lessons on that as well. After we go with the building community, I'm actually going to put down this one here, which is developing your craft. And even though I'm putting this third, this is something that I really want us to keep central all year long. So this is step number 3, is developing your craft. And here's the thing, we all got into this at some point because we love writing. And so we do not want to not write. Kim, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. She just joined us. Kim Rogney, those of you who might see her in the comments there, is the amazing mindset coach I was just telling you about. So I'm going to pause on this developing your craft. And Kim, I apologize that we didn't get the Zoom going today. So we're doing this on Facebook Live. We will have the Zoom next week. So for this week, we just have the Facebook commentary. I would love if you have anything that you'd like to share in the comments about what you look forward to bringing to this group this year as we partner with you as our mindset coach as part of the Red Writes Book's Mentorship Mastermind. So we'll give her a second to see if she responds to that. And while Kim is working on that, I do want to, I'll double back to the developing your craft, and we will pause when her commentary comes in here. So developing your craft, when you first started writing, you didn't think about a paycheck. You don't put your pen to the page for the first time ever because you want a paycheck. You put it to the page because that pen is called to the page. You put your fingers on the keys because they're called to those keys. And what it does is it excites you and it refuels you, and the story fuels you. And it's very exciting. So you want to keep that excitement. You want to keep that why. You want to keep that passion and that fire central to your business model. And that is why developing your craft also has to be a very central theme to what you're doing in that 10-step model. So this is where I'm going to tell you about our public group. So this group, the Mentorship Mastermind private group, it's only the members of the one-on-one and group coaching for the mentorship for this year. However, we also have a second group. It is called Block Breakers. For those of you who have not yet joined it, I highly recommend it. Let me go ahead and grab that group link for you. It's super easy to join. It's free. I'm going to throw that into the comments for you. So Block Breakers is really what I would like to do. Besides having develop your craft lessons here in the group coaching, we're also going to have Block Breakers free every week. Again, this is one that's a public group. On Monday mornings, I will be teaching a lesson. Every Monday morning, 7 a.m., and it's going to be able to be played back. So if you don't catch it live, you can catch it another time. On Wednesday mornings, 7 a.m., I am going to be bringing you a writing sprint. We're going to just write together. We're going to talk about what we're writing. We're going to do a little introduction. You can, and basically we're going to be together for half an hour and hopefully writing. So thank you so much, Kim. She said she's going to be sharing her models and systems that are easy to put in practice. We will be covering daily mindset journaling, fear. Hello, anybody else experiencing fear already at the beginning of the year? I know I am. Something called, oh, I'm not going to even try to pronounce that. It's LKIGAI, but that might be an IKIGAI concept. Ooh, I look forward to learning that one. Kim is my coach, and I haven't even covered that one with her yet. Her thanks model. Ooh, I love this. She has an incredible model that she introduced this last fall called the thanks model, and I loved that one. Um, and a habits model. So she's going to be bringing a ton of value to us, and we get to take advantage of her amazing knowledge and her entrepreneurial skills as she helps to grow our mindset. But she also has opportunities throughout the year that she will offer if anybody's looking to dig deeper on some of those business aspects, because she is the queen of them. It's really pretty fabulous. So I thank you again, Kim, for chiming in, and we can't wait. Next week is actually our first session with her. It's going to be a pre-recorded session, and you guys are going to love it, and you're going to love everything that she gets to bring to us. So we talked about the first several steps of our business model. Now let's talk about the actual business model. So there are next steps. So that's steps 1, 2, and 3. We're writing your mindset, building community, and developing your craft. So we actually have three. Our next 3 business model steps are actually business models. So we are going to be digging into the meaty, businessy, administrative, logistical stuff of doing a full-time working writing career. So first there's our work models, meaning how are you getting the production done? Second is our time models. This is going to be how do you properly block and break up your time to achieve the goals that you would like to achieve. And that third part is the budget models. My husband, who is my head of finance and my VP, he would love to spend like 6 weeks on just this one. Trust me. I don't love it. It's something that it's not that I struggle with it. I get it, but it's just the discipline of staying on top of it. And I think that you guys are going to find that too. As creatives, there's actually a ton of creativity in these 3 business model areas, tons. But we don't necessarily find ourselves drawn to it. Once you're in it, it's fine. And so we're going to have to create some discipline around those 3 business models: your work business model, your time business model, and your budget business model. So those are steps 4, 5, and 6 of the working writer business model. Step 7 is about your admin, your logistics, and your tools of the trade. This is going to be a section that we dig into where you are going to learn all of the different things that are out there for you in the world. So it's going to be, where are like my 3D mock-up makers? What are some of my different distribution outlets I need to be uploading on? How do I get ISBNs if I haven't already been doing that? How do I find out where the bookstores are that I might want to be working with? There are so many little nuts and bolts. And so we've kind of put this together. Nuts and bolts, we're going to be addressing some of those administrative, logistical tools of the trades, of the trade when it comes to writing and publishing. We're really going to dig into that. So our next model then is in our actual production. So there are 2 parts to production. One, there's your writing production. I am going to be providing you guys with some really cool tools to track your word count, to format your books, all of these different kinds of things, because production is about doing the writing and then making that writing available in a sellable form. So that's going to be your eighth step of the full-time working writer model, is how do we really get into the production? How do I take my words and make them into books? How do I take my books and make them into anthologies or omnibuses? All of these great things. So definitely the production piece we want to make sure that we're covering as well. And then we have two that also people don't always love to hear about when you are creative, but let me give you these, and they are marketing and sales. These are different things. Marketing is one thing. Marketing is about awareness and knowledge of the product that you are bringing to the world. Sales is about putting it in your ideal audience's hands. So, in general, those are the 10 steps. So I'm just we're about halfway through here today, and I'm going to cover a little bit more about how we're going to be addressing each of these things, but I just wanted to do a really quick halfway recap and ask if anybody has questions. So first of all, there's how we're going to be covering this. We're doing this in our weekly sessions where you're going to get an introduction, you're going to get the teaching, we're going to have some open Q&A, and then after that, there's going to be a recommended resource, a weekly challenge, and some sort of bonus value, and you're also going to get all of that sent to you. We are going to be covering the 10 steps of the full-time working writer model. Those steps include writing your mindset, with whom we have partnered with Kim Rogney for the Love of, a personal and professional development company, to help us in that area. We also have building community, developing your craft, your business models related to work, time, and budget, our admin, logistics, and tools of the trade, our production, our marketing, and our sales. So we're halfway. Does anybody have any questions so far about the 10-step working writer model? I'm just going to give a couple of seconds here because I know there's a little bit of a lag, and if anybody wants to ask, definitely let me know. Ivy, will you be able to watch the recorded live sessions forever, or is there a time limit? You will be able to watch them for as long as you are a part of the group coaching program, and after the group coaching program during which you were a part of it, you will have forever access to those that occurred while you were in the program. So let's say you're in the program for a full year, you go through the full year of programming. Everything that comes out during that year, you have access to forever. If you continue to be a member, or if you join anew, so let's say somebody joins 3 months from now, they have access to everything that came before them in the group as well. But when that person leaves, they will only have access to what took place while they were a member, because you're going to get those follow-up emails that will have the playback video, the transcripts, the notes, and so on and so forth. So yes, there is no time limit on what occurred while you are a member of the group. You lose access to things that came before you if you do leave the group. Hopefully that answered that question. Do we have anything else? Okay. All right, so I'm going to move on since I don't see other questions coming in. Feel free to drop them, though, in the comments. I'm more than happy to answer them. So now I want to talk about how we're going to be approaching this each week in addition to, so we have the weekly breakdown, like I said. We have those 10 areas, like I said. So what I'm going to tell you now is like what this actually looks like. And this would have been a great place to share that document that you guys will get in the video playback, which has our entire year broken down. But I'm going to give you at least a kind of an overview of it right now. So right now we are in our introduction period. So this is a 1 session period, our introduction. I just copied in our different sections that we have throughout our group coaching. Now, this is the 1 year plan. So we have our introduction session. And then for the next 5, there's getting started, becoming professional, intermediate, advanced, and expert. So for each of those 5 sessions, we have a lesson across each of those 10 areas of the full-time working writer model. So in other words, we're going to go through all 10 steps of the full-time working writer model in a getting started way. So we're going to get a broad overview of what are each of those areas looking like as you're working your way toward that working model. Now, even if you've been writing a long time and you might be mastermind level in the writer, or maybe you're expert level in marketing, there are still going to be areas on how do I use this in a working writer model in my career. And so I think that even though some of the stuff that's getting started, you might be like, I already know how to get my ISBNs, or I already know how to upload my book. I'm hoping that in one of those 10 areas of the full-time working writer model, you are going to gain something out of those 10 sessions. So after this introduction period, we're going to be starting at writing your mindset, and we're going to be finishing at sales. We're going to go through all 10. So our next 10 weeks, our sessions 2 through 11 are going to be 10 sessions on the 10 steps of the full-time working writer model at that getting started level. Then we're going to repeat that. Then we're going to do that same thing at the becoming professional level. We're going to do the same thing at the intermediate level. We're going to do the same thing at the advanced level, and we're going to do the same thing at the expert level. So that's going to be our next 50 lessons. That almost takes us through the whole year. We have this crazy year because not only is it a leap year, so we have the extra day with February 29th, but January 1st fell on a Monday, December 31st falls, I believe, on a Tuesday. And so we have the absolute, like, there is no other scenario where we would have this many Tuesdays in a year that exists. This is the maximum. And so we actually have 54 sessions this year, even though there are 52 weeks in a year. It's just the way the days fell. But because of that, we have this really great opportunity to add a mastermind level. That mastermind level is going to be a bonus 3 sessions at the end. We're going to do some vision planning. We're going to finalize and set your working writer model to carry forward through the next year and beyond. I mean, really, this is something that you can use to grow and grow and grow. And so we talked about what we cover each week. We have our introduction, our teaching, our resource, our challenge, and our bonus value that you all get follow-up for. But within each of those weeks, we have our introduction, which we're in right now. We have the 10-step full-time working writer model covered at 5 different levels: getting started, becoming professional, intermediate, advanced, and expert. And then we're following that up with a set of mastermind sessions during which you will be able to truly finalize your full-time working writer model. I want to talk a little bit about what it takes to do this. So if your goal is, I want to be a 6-figure author. In other words, I want to be bringing in $100,000 per year. And I'd like to only work 10 hours a week. That's not realistic. So we're going to determine together how much you have to write, what you really have to produce, what it is that you want in your writing career in order to reach your realistic goals. A couple of the things, I just had one of my one-on-one sessions this morning, but I want to give you, again, there's a little difference between a full-time working author and a full-time working writer. A writer is using that gift that they've been given, that craft that they have developed, and it is using it to earn a living wage. And part of that writing includes hopefully their books as an author. There are people that have a full-time working writer career who only have one book, though. Maybe it's a nonfiction book, and they are using that. Their full-time working writer model might include coaching, might include speaking, might include training, might include courses, might include online offerings. And so you can actually have that full-time working writer model, including other things. So I'm just going to give you a quick list rundown of some of the things that I ask some of my one-on-one clients about when it comes to what do you want to do as a full-time working writer. So some of those other tasks include layout, editing, marketing, social media, traditional media, newsletters, websites, swaps with other authors, ads, Amazon sales, direct sales, live events, conventions, bookstores, schools, private events, social media events, in other words, online events, cover design, copy and content writing, tutoring, continuing education programs, anthologies, format diversification, becoming an Amazon vendor, review drives, launches, collateral creation, coaching, project management. These are all things that you might actually do as a full-time working writer. So we're going to work at developing what is the right model for you. So that is the bulk of what your year is going to look like. We've got the 10 steps. We've got the 5 basic areas plus our getting started and our mastermind session. Couple of other things to let you know. We will have a searchable catalog of content that is going to be put in here. I don't have it yet because this is our first session. So this is what I'm offering you right now. What I'd like to offer you as your recommended resource for the week is right there in the comments. It's the Block Breakers. If you have not yet joined Block Breakers, join Block Breakers. Why? Because it is going to be that place where you're going to stay on fire for the craft of writing. So that's my recommended resource for the week. I will, as often as possible, make that resource a free one. So that is my recommendation for you. I have a weekly challenge for you too. I've said every week is going to have a resource and a challenge. This week, as we're kind of talking about building community, I want you to look on your online communities. Those of you who don't really do a lot online, look in your local communities, look in your business communities, look through your email connections as well. I want you to find a secondary connection. In other words, find somebody to whom you're not directly connected, but who you think will be valuable to add to your community. So for me, it was very easy. I work with a business coach, Kim Rogme, who you guys have all seen on here. And I realized, I was like, okay, she's somebody who does really good social media. I reached out and I wanted to be connected to the person that does her social media. So that's an idea. Also, there are people for me. I'm heavy in the gaming community with a lot of my writing. I'm not going to dig into that right too deeply with you right now, but I will tell you that I knew that there were people in the gaming community that I needed to be connected to. So your challenge is to find somebody to add to your community. And if they're a secondary connection, you can reach out and you can say, hey, Jim, I see that you and I are both connected through Ivy. I love working with Ivy. She's a talented young writer. I also write, and it looks like Jim, you teach English. There's a possibility I may have something to bring to your school down the line, but for now, I would just really like to follow what it is that you're doing. How do you feel about accepting my friend request, connecting, or literally just being a part of my community? So your challenge this week is to find one person, find one person to add to your community. And this challenge is one I'd like to continue all year. If you can add 52 people to your community by the end of the year, and actually we just talked about the fact that we actually have these 54 Tuesdays in 2024, imagine adding 54 truly connected people to your community by the end of the year. If 10% of them lead you to something within your career, that means that you're getting at least five more opportunities as a professional. So your recommended resource this week is to join Block Breakers, which is linked in the comments there. Your weekly challenge is to add one person to your community who you want to be connected to help your career. Now, when I'm telling you that you want that person to be someone who can help your career, it doesn't mean that this is a one-sided road. You should have something to offer to them as well. We always want to bring value to a community because otherwise we're just a leech. We don't want to be a leech. We want to be a value. So that one person that you add, have something to offer to them. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. It could be another connection. It could be maybe you do have a downloadable or something like that. But just find one person and you want to try to make a mutual benefit out of that relationship. One person. So that's our weekly recommended resource and our weekly challenge. And then bonus value. My freebies, a couple of you met me actually through my stand store and some of the offerings that I had on my stand store. They were only available as freebies through Christmas, and they're no longer available for free. However, I have a 99 cent lessons that are part of Block Breakers. So Block Breakers itself, free video. I even typed the notes in there afterward. It's great, but it's just the video, it's just the notes, and I hope that they bring great value to people. However, for me, I still like to have my own like journaling, my own notes, my own follow-up, my own ability to use it. So what I'm doing is every single week that I do a block breaker, I'm also providing this lesson. Those lessons are available on my stand store for 99 cents. However, welcome to the mastermind that we have. Our Red Rights Books Mentorship Mastermind is going to get those block breaker lessons for free all year long. So that's another $54 value that I'm giving you guys all year. That is my bonus value that I'd like to add to you. We are a little bit short today because of the fact that we're really just kind of covering what is it we're going to be covering. But this has been our whole lunch. So we've been here together for 45 minutes today. Again, I look forward to being here on Zoom with you guys next week, so we'll be able to share things. And I encourage you to interact, to ask your questions. So we've covered what our weekly sessions look like, what our whole year looks like. We have our challenge, which is to add somebody to your community. The recommended resource is that you join Block Breakers. And our bonus value is that all of the clients that are part of the Red Rights Books Mentorship Mastermind are getting for free the block breaker lessons that are downloadables. You're getting those free all year, even though they're on my stand store for 99 cents. I ask that you please not share those out. That's a gift that you get as one of my mastermind members. For anybody that you'd like to share them with, I would love if you would refer them to the stand store where they're only 99 cents. So it's still a really great deal for them too. Before we close off, I'm going to give just another minute to see if anybody has any final questions about what group coaching is going to look like this year, or questions about the 10-step full-time working writer model. Okay. I don't see anything coming in. If I see anything that comes in after the fact, I will do my best to respond to you and provide an answer. Thank you, Ivy. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Terry. I think she was in here at one point. Thank you to our whole group. And I'm sure as this continues to go throughout the year, we will have more and more of our members in here and interacting. I'm so grateful to have a community to start this new program with. And I'm super excited about what we can do for all of you. So have a great day and be gloriously human.